Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrating to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell on the side, so once we have all the updates and news, be the first one getting all the insight. Now it's an exciting weekend. Now obviously the official change of policy and regulation on the employment sponsored visa expansion has been implemented, well, just yesterday, 25th of November. So the law actually came out on Friday, late Friday. Implementation and also the update of the email account system has already been done yesterday. So I took the first opportunity. Obviously there has been some news out there already updating the stuff, but I still took a little bit of time go through regulation. So today's video, I will go through the entire immigration website's information, the changes and the unchanged, and also going through the detailed regulation and the policy, and also giving some comments at the end of this video in regards to these new changes. So let's not to wait too long, let's jump in there. Now first of all, obviously we understand this is an employment sponsored visa, so the first visa that you will get, I'm not going to talk about all those legacy or godfather policy about 457, because if you want to be sponsored and hold an employment sponsored visa, it's gonna be the subclass 4A2. So 4A2 does come in two streams. Now previously the two stream requires different list of occupation list, whereby the medium term stream was able to actually transfer into a permanent residency. Now the short term cannot, but since yesterday, either medium term and short term are available to transfer into permanent residency. So let's just have a look at in there. Now the only differences between this one and short term is, well, obviously it's the occupation code, that despite that there's no skill assessment required to be done, but it does say that have a relevant skill assessment if this is required for your occupation. Now obviously those, if you jump in there, those will more than likely to be those trades works, and also coming from particular country, for example India, Pakistan, China, Hong Kong, and I think South Africa as well. There's a number of passport country holders required to go through skill assessment. Rest, if not in there, you're not required to go through them. So obviously if you're a professional, for example an engineer or accountant or ICT professional, I don't think you need required to go through skill assessment. Those skill assessment for the 4A2 visa were predominantly required by the trades work occupations. And let's have a look at there. The only differences here I can actually see is the English requirements. So rather than go through information about this one, I've done a specific video on this one previously, but I'd like to go through this one for the English proficiency, the subclass 4A2. There's a differences here. First of all, there's the exemptions. So if you're a passport holder of Canada, New Zealand, Ireland, UK or USA, you're not required to demonstrate, despite even if you cannot speak English at all, but I doubt that you can actually get a job anyway. You complete 5 years of study at secondary level institution where most classes were in English, so you need to prove that. You probably be in an English teaching environment, whichever the country that you're in, perhaps in some sort of American school in Asia. That as long as you can prove that, that's fine. Your normal occupation will be performed at no, this is for diplomats, so it's not usual. So if you're a diplomat and sent by whatever the country that you come from, you're not required to demonstrate English anyway. But those diplomats usually will have very, very good English. Otherwise, how can it be a diplomat? Okay. Your nomination occupation requires you to hold a license, registration, membership. They will grant a license, registration, membership. You had to prove that you equal higher English proficiency. So who are those kind of occupation? That's for example, medical doctors, dentists, very high-end scientists. No, scientists doesn't need require to go through to hold a license registration. Most likely are the medical or health professional there, and obviously if you have that high qualification, your English will be right up there anyway. Or you are sponsored by an overseas business and your income is over $96,400. Now, bear in mind, a lot of people may say, all right, let's get perhaps my boss is looking to expand a branch in Brisbane, Sydney, or Melbourne. Let's go. And as long as I got a high pay. Now, bear in mind, an overseas business entity, whilst they can sponsor you for 482 visa, you're not required to demonstrate English, but they are not able to actually transfer you into, for example, the TRT stream to become a permanent resident. So that's only drawback there, unless you don't care about permanent. But I thought we were talking about permanent residency in this video or this channel. All right, short-term stream. Short-term stream has a lower requirement on the English proficiency. As you can see, the English required on the IELTS will be overall 5, 4.5 at least for each band at least, but that's not much of different, because if we jump into the medium and long term, score is 5 as well, and at least 5 in each component. So what's the difference here? Overall is all 5. So I'm not too sure. And if you look at OET, it's all at least B. OET is B there as well. TOEFL, a little bit of difference, I think. Not much of differences. So as long as you can reach IELTS 5, that is not a problem. But look, this is only an entry to get into employment sponsored visa. Remember, we are only talking about 482 visa. Whilst you wanted to get into 186, that's a transition to a permanent residency, the requirement of English there will be competent. That means IELTS 6 in each band or above. Okay, so that's where we're sitting there. Now, let's jump into the nitty gritty, that the major changes that has come implemented and established yesterday. Not much of changes here, but we can see that I want to draw your attention to the right side of the web page. Said you must hold a 457 TSS 482 visa or related bridging ABC visa. Now, what does that mean? That means some people may have their 482 visa due to expire soon. Then in the short run, they probably require to extend their further 482 visa. While they are applying for extension, they also apply the TRT stream 186. During that time, you'll be holding a bridging visa. That's what it's trying to say. But look, that's very stupid. If you have a good planner, you might as well have that lodged 186 straight away, rather than lodging another renewal of 482 and lodge another 186. That's just waste time and waste money. So but I assume there will be people like that anyway. So okay, the usual, you have worked in your employment at least 2 years full-time whilst hold subclass 457 or TSS visa. So that's the major change as well. Instead of the two major changes is dropping from 3-year work requirement down to 2, and then the both medium and short-term stream skill occupation lists are enabled to lodge 186 TRT, have been nominated by Australian employers. So that's pretty obvious. Have the required skill. You must have a required skill qualification needed to perform the task of nominated occupation. Despite that, you will still need to put a nominated occupation that you not required to within any the ENS code thing, or go through the basically that once you want to go TRT, the occupation is not there anymore. Now, the key question here is that what about the regional occupation list? Now, seems to be it's not been mentioned, but I think by the end of this video, I'll like the little chat about that one. I need to verify further in regards to the ROL because it's not mentioned specifically on that one. There's only open up for a medium and a short term. So if that's true, again, it goes back to where I had mentioned that the regional skill, whether it's got to be the state nomination or the regional employment sponsor visa, will be really redundant. No one's gonna utilize the regional one, especially if you go into ROL, that's a regional occupation list. Those occupation are only required for regional. You can only be done in regional area. Another easier, simpler way to say it. But then you can only access to 494. Now, if you can only access to 494, obviously 494 has no way to transfer to 186 because that's a 482. 482 is only available for the short-term and medium-term list, right? So those regional occupation will be the biggest loser within this new changes. Anyway, let's jump back there and have looked at furthermore. Now, there is a age limit on 45 unless I'm gonna go into a policy to see those exemptions there, and also there's an English exemption there as well. Let's have a look. But usually I will really recommend people to have that complete English done, but let's have a look at the exemptions within a minute. Let's just go through this one. So the exemptions following apply if you're an academic, so if you're a lecturer and teaching in Australian institution, usually will be universities, or you are a scientist, researcher, or technical specialist at the ANSCO level 1 or 2 by an Australian science government agency. Now, the last bit is the hardest part. There will be a lot of scientists out there, but whether you are at the Australian science government agency, that's the hard part. Okay, those people working at the government agency, no need to be, can be exempt for the age. You're nominated medical practitioner and working in designated regional Australia. Okay, now question here, why would they do this rather than they go through what should I say, go through the 494 491? I think they can apply straight away rather than waiting for 494 require 3 years, and the 482 transfer to 186 is only 2 years. So they are giving that extra 1 year better off than waiting for another additional year, because 494 3 year to 191. So anyway, and the state government nomination, don't know, eh? The quarter has been cut, so a bit of a strategy move there. Okay, subclass 457 482 working nominated occupation at least 2 years during 3 years, and they have each year that the period you are earning a fair work high income threshold. So let's go in there and have a look. Not going to talk about transitional arrangement because that's for all the 457 or the grandfather rules. Now let's jump into the actual regulations there, shall we? So this is the most updated version. As you can see on the top left, just below ledger income, it says 25th of November 2023. So it's the most updated version there. Subclass 186. Okay, now scroll down. Let's go into the TRT, temporary resident transition stream. So there is 186.221 with the age not turning 45, and there's exemptions there, and there's also 186.222 with the requirement of competent English, with also was a person or a person of the class specified minister writing in paragraph for this paragraph. Okay, so that's I've clicked on that one there, so let's jump in there. So this one, as you can see, this is a legislative instrument with the number F2022C00671. Might mean nothing to you. It's enforced means it's current. Okay, it's not the past one. Okay, so this one talks about exemption of skill, age, and English. So we will have a look at where remember we were talking about the 1A6221 and also the 1A6222 there. Okay, and if we move down to where they talked about it, sometimes reading these regulations is really tough. We need to go to the further down to the exemptions part first, where there says subclass 1A6 visa, the following are exempt. Now you will go, what? So the 457 and 482 visa workers are exempt? That means everyone? No, because they have a specific definition on that on 457 482 visa workers right up here. So when you go back there, go back to the the instrument up there. So the subclass 457 482 workers, the definition of this phrase is that in relation to the application visa means a person related whom following paragraph apply. Okay, 3 years working immediately nominated by the employer. At the occupation visa apply relates to, that means when they apply for 1A6, their occupation is the same as what they were at the time where they were nominated under 4A2. Okay, so that's what that means. Okay, B, for each of the 3 person earnings of the year were equal or greater to the high income threshold of that year. So every year has a different high income threshold, and we're gonna go look at that one there. At almost all time during those 3 years, the person held 4574. That pretty obviously. I'm not too sure why they said almost all time. Perhaps they are talking about when there is a delay going on, visa delay. There were 6 months holding bridging visa, things like that. So okay, so what is the high income threshold? So if you go to Google and you punch in Fair Work section 333, you will find this high income threshold webpage issued by the Fair Work Australia, Fair Work Council. Okay, so 333 will say this. The high income threshold of the current is $167,500 per annum, and that's from July 1st, 2023. Now before that was 162,000. That was back in June 2023. So that was last financial. That's where you find your high income threshold there. So as long as the 482 visa holders, whilst within that 3 years or 2 years that they're working, if we go back to that law there, for each of those 3 years. So this will be, I'm not too sure if you're gonna employ by 3 years or 2, but anyway, I think it will be 2 years. That's for transition exemptions, but this the new updated information was 2 years. But this legislative instrument has not been updated yet, so we still have that 3 years there. Not too sure they're gonna change that. I think they will, and that means during the time that you are holder of 482 visa, your income has to be $167,500 or above. Is it $500? Yeah, $500 or above. Then you will be exempt on your age, and I believe also exempt on your English as well. So that is the tough part. Now, talking about this, the high income threshold, wouldn't that duplicate the global talent requirement as well? I think they are taking also part of the load that those global talent applicants who are actually applying global talent onshore employed in Australia, they will then transfer into this part of the visa application rather than squeeze everybody into global, because that's they only got 5,000. But the new year coming in, whether they're going to increase the quota for global talent and how that will go is again a mystery. So 2023, we're almost at the end of the year. We were at the beginning, there was migration review report, a lot of recommendations, but seems to be not all of them being implemented. Despite there has been announced of 190,000 visa open up, but they have cut 70% out of all the skill migration quota for the states, and then until today, we haven't even seen 189 visa invitation yet. So how will this play? Is the government of Australia looking to, with this expansion, to move everybody into employment sponsor? Perhaps it's a good way for international students, graduates, getting a job, transfer themselves into 482, and then 2 years onwards into a permanent residency under 186 TRT. Anyways, if you have more question, query, more than welcome to leave comment right down below. And I'll see you next video. Goodbye.